Good evening. Please be aware that the first hour and a half of this meeting will be recorded so that we can put it onto our website, our podcast, and our YouTube channel. We record in audio only. Feel free to use the podcast on our website along with your big book as a resource if you miss the study portion of the meeting. The study portion is also listed on the website so that you can follow along. Tonight's recap will start on page 100, where it says both you and the new man must walk, and end on page 102, work with another alcoholic instead. And our study tonight will start on page 102, why sit with a long face, and will end at the end of the chapter on page 103, where it says we have to. And are there any announcements?
Good evening, family. My name is Jamie, very grateful recovered alcoholic, and welcome everyone. If you're new to this meeting, welcome. We are happy to have you. And if you end up deciding you like what we have and would like to become a home group member, that's real easy. All you have to do is let Trish or myself know, and we'll be happy to be all-inclusive. And what that looks like is that you get to have a vote and decisions and things that we do in this group and participate. We just had our group conscience last week, just so everybody who was there knows. I have cut checks. One has been delivered, another goes in the mail tomorrow, and the third and final one will get taken care of when I go to assembly in 2 weeks, fourth quarter assembly, closing out the year. And right after first quarter assembly, I believe it is when we set our next group conscience. So we have them quarterly. So I'll have a couple of back-to-back reports to give you. That being said, let's move along with the meeting. Good evening, family, and again, my name is Jamie, very grateful recovered alcoholic, and welcome to the Lewisburg Primary Purpose Big Book Study Group. To prepare for our Big Book study, let's get focused by having a 3-minute moment of meditation followed by our family's fog light prayer.
And I'm a recovered alcoholic. My name is Trish. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to start the meditation in a minute, so please take a moment to get situated.
Please be aware of background noises when you are unmuted and sharing as to not distract others or yourself. We suggest we all observe proper Zoom etiquette. If you wouldn't do it in a live meeting, please don't do it here. A friendly reminder that absence of profanity offends no one. Please keep yourself muted during someone else's share, and we will call on you in the order that hands are raised.
From the foreword to the first edition of Alcoholics Anonymous. We of Alcoholics Anonymous are many thousands of men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book and of this group.
For the meditation, some suggestions are focus on your breath and posture, breathe in God, and breathe out self.
Take this time to reconnect with God. Let the craziness of the day drift away and ask God to help you focus on the study.
Now let's invite those cute little monks in to do what the monks do so well.
let's have our fog light prayer.
Can you see it?
Nope.
Whoops, let me do it again. I got out of sync in it. That is the problem here. Let me go to the other window. My apologies.
There we go. God, let your love shine through us like a fog light, so that those who are lost, sick, and dying can find your love through us. Amen. And let's have our secretary's report. Come on in, Lisa.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm your recovered alcoholic secretary. I've asked Art to read the recovered statement. We read this notice to explain why many people identify as recovered rather than recovering, and what it exactly means to be a recovered alcoholic. Take it away, Art.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Art. I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic. Recovered. We are not cured of alcoholism. Recovered but not cured. That presents a conflict to some alcoholics. If we were cured, we would be able to drink responsibly. No, we're not cured. The allergic reaction to alcohol will remain with us for a lifetime. But we have been restored to sanity. That was the problem. The main problem with the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than in his body. And that's from page 23 of the Big Book. We are now sane where alcohol is concerned. Consequently, we have recovered.
Thank you, Art. Thank you for joining us tonight. We meet every Tuesday starting at 5:30 p.m. Central Time with the Gerbil Fellowship Cage, where we chatter for an hour before the start of the meeting. Feel free to bring side dishes to share with the buzzards. Our Big Book study starts promptly at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and we ask that you be courteous and ready to begin at the sound of the foghorn. We take our Big Book study seriously. Because of this, chat will be disabled during the study. In the 1940s, when the only elements to sobriety were God, a Big Book, and one recovered alcoholic working with an untreated alcoholic, the success rate was as follows. From the foreword to the second edition of Alcoholics Anonymous, page XX, of alcoholics who came to AA and really tried, 50% got sober at once and remained that way. 25% sobered up after some relapse, and the remainder, those who stayed on with AA, showed improvement. Can we have a show of hands of people joining us for the first time?
We've got a couple tonight, Lauren and Samantha. We are glad to have you with us.
Welcome. And then the recovered alcoholics? These are your potential sponsors. Is anyone celebrating a milestone this week?
Yes, Gandalf the Red Pickle is.
Oh, yeah, 10. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Trish is working on it.
I am. And there you go.
Congratulations, brother.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Wouldn't be able to do it without Bill and Bob.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you should require a Big Book of your own, we have large print editions available that can be sent to you by Buzzard Mail. Delivery time questionable. Please remember to practice our 7th tradition by donating to the group address, Venmo, or PayPal posted in chat and on the screen. Our suggestion is to purchase a Big Book and take an untreated alcoholic through the program of recovery. please visit our website posted in the chat. Thank you and see you next week.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Art, for your service tonight. From Chapter 2, there is a solution. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism.
This is an open meeting, and as such...
You're muted, Trish.
Thank you. This is an open meeting, and as such, all who have an interest in alcoholism and our program of recovery are welcome. Because this is an open meeting, you need not identify yourself nor your reason for being here if you do not wish to do so. Your anonymity will be protected. We ask that you protect ours.
While this is an open meeting, membership in this group is limited to those who wish to recover from alcoholism and have a desire to stop drinking for good and all. Each member of Alcoholics Anonymous is a potential sponsor of a new member and should clearly recognize the obligations and duties of such a responsibility.
Before we begin our study of the Big Book, last week we reviewed Tradition 1. Tonight, let's take a quick look at Tradition 2. Please refer to page 562 of our book, Alcoholics Anonymous. And come on in, Susan.
Hello, everybody. My name's Susan, and I am an alcoholic. And Tradition 2 this week is, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. And the long form is shorter than the other one. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as he may express himself in our group conscience. Okay, after much studying up on this tradition, aside from spirituality, I think the primary component of the sacred tradition that I needed to understand is the concept of, the group conscience. All of my life, I had feared any kind of authority. I didn't like anyone else's authority. I only liked my own. And maybe that's not so strange to think about if you were as sick an alcoholic as I was when I got here. I certainly had no respectful attitude for any kind of authority figures. And I didn't have any idea that this person should be in any authority over me because God placed him in authority. And I should be here to cooperate with this person. This came to be a pretty sane idea about authority later on, after I got sober a little while, and it's still seeping in. I did not view those in authority as an expression of the loving God at all. I guess, the first thing that I seen of a loving God was, my first experience of this has come about with my sponsor right now. I don't fear him at all. I rely upon him. And I think my sponsor is the expression of a loving God. And slowly I have extended this trust in my group with my fellow alcoholics and then out into the world among us. And this happens to be a far, far cry from any ideas about authority when I got here. And the idea that the sole authority in AA is a loving God as he may express himself in the group conscience is a great source of comfort to me and not a threat anymore. Another idea that has come across to me and helped me to grow is just the realization that I am just here I'm a servant, not the guy. I don't govern anything. See, I thought I was always the boss, when I was out there drinking, so I could rule my life, And my thinking has done an absolute reversal coming into Alcoholics Anonymous, because I sincerely wish and hope to become more of a helper, because it brings me closer to God and closer to y'all. I am happy that a loving God has given me some sort of special abilities because I really didn't know what I was here for. Just now I do know that they're not given to me to be a boss, but only to be as a help to the group. And this status is very satisfying to me and an exciting source of my own self-worth. And there are three words that come to my mind and lift my spirits when my low self-esteem returns, and that is God needs me. You know, sometimes the good is the enemy of the best, you know, so I am not a saint, and I do make mistakes. You know, I need to be willing to go to any lengths to grow in my spiritual nature. And I do all this to the best of my willingness, not to the best of my ability. This, I think, is demanded of me to stay sober. This also means I have chosen to have the listening ear when someone wants to talk to me instead of going about my own business and doing my thing. Doing the work is good, but serving another is even better. This, to me, is a real comparison about good being the enemy of the best. I think it's, and I was going to say, I think, you know, the tradition really matched the step here. You know, and all this is new to me. So, you know, when I looked at this, it's all, both of them are spiritual in nature. And you know, and I guess, therefore, you know, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are certain that there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in a truth conscious. And that's all, folks. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Susan. Well done. And Susan will be joining us next week for Tradition 3. And Trish, did we ever get somebody for 4, 5, and 6, or is that still up for grabs?
We are waiting on an answer from somebody.
Okay, if we don't get that answer, we might be giving one of you a call this next week to see if you can step up for 4, 5, and 6. So we'll give that other person the opportunity. And now it's time for our weekly segment of That Ain't in the Book. We hear a lot of stuff said in meetings that can't be reconciled with the program as described in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. One of the things we often hear is stay out of relationships for the first year. So, Miss Mary, if you will unmute and come in and tell us what the book has to say about that on page 69 in the first paragraph, please.
69. One school would allow man.
No, not there. We do not wish.
Would you? Gigi, where's your phone?
Just the one sentence.
Oh, okay. We do not want we don't not want to be the arbiter of anyone's sex conduct.
That's it.
Thank
you
you,
so
Mary.
much.
As we study, please make use of the pens, highlighters, and rulers so that we can share this experience with another alcoholic.
In order for us to stay focused as we study the Big Book, we use the Big Book study guide prepared by Joe and Charlie and Krusty Cliff of the Dallas Primary Purpose Group.
Tonight we are going to start our recap on page 100, which will be read tonight by Nancy. And that will be followed by our study portion read by Kenny. After the page is read, we will ask questions from the imaginary podium, starting back at our study portion that was read by Kenny. The answers will be one sentence unless otherwise specified, and multi-part questions are simply a one-sentence answer split up by commas, semicolons, hyphens, and other fun bits of punctuation.
Basically, in English, what that means is that we are going to read the material once through and then dissect the information a second time through the question and answer format. Notice how the language in the question gives us a new light in which to consider the study material.
This is important because hearing the question and rereading the content offers a definite way of comprehending the material covered. After we've completed the study, we open up for comment, questions, and observations based on what was just read. If you have spiritual experiences with this information, you are free to share. Please keep your share on topic and under 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, you may hear a timer beep to let you know that your time is finished.
However, Big Book study is not therapy. Should you begin sharing on topics which are more appropriately discussed in a different setting, for example with your sponsor, Please do not be offended when we cut that conversation short and send the buzzards nipping at your heels. For that purpose, we have fellowship meetings before and after our study time.
You can never go wrong by commenting on the pages studied, which brings us to the words of one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the teaching and practice of the 12 steps, is the sole purpose of any Alcoholics Anonymous group.
And how we arrived at this point, we are finishing off the chapter tonight. We didn't just look at these pages today and say, oh, here's what we'll do tonight. This group is coming up on its 5th anniversary in January, and it started right here in my living room with 12 other alcoholics. And in our journey, we eventually became 100% virtual. But the way we study the book is we start on the title page, right underneath those big block letters that say Alcoholics Anonymous, and we find our first promise, the story of how many thousands of men and women have recovered from alcoholism. We go through the preface and the forewords through this question format, and it's very effective. It certainly gives us new perspective on those writings. The doctor's opinion, Bill's story, the classic 12-step call into there is a solution, and that's where we find that passage that we present in this, that we have found a way that we can, a solution that we can agree on in brotherly and harmonious action. From there, we move through chapter 3, which tells us all about our mental obsession and untreated alcoholism, and then we go into the chapter to the agnostic, which becomes a pathway to letting go of old ideas and old beliefs. We move into the chapter, how it works. While the steps are presented in their entirety in this chapter only really tells us how to do 2 things, how to take steps 3 and 4. And it gives us the prayers that we use and the actions that we take, and it shows us the promises that result from praying the prayers and taking the actions. And then we move into action, and it just in 16 short pages in chapter 6, we are taken through the next 7 steps. And you know, everybody says, oh, it's so hard, it's so complicated. Not really if we follow the simple directions. And then we move into the chapter working with others, which is what we have been in tonight. And I think this is week number 8 or 9 of being in this chapter, and we'll close it out. Next week, we will start moving into the lost chapters. And we will do that all the way through. We'll get to Dr. Bob's story. We'll do the same thing with Dr. Bob's story. We'll spend a couple of weeks on the traditions towards the end with the question format as well. Gives us a new way to look at the traditions. And then we'll close out with one final week of this spiritual experience at week 94, and we'll circle around and we'll do it all over again.
Thank you, Jamie. Before we start the recap, we will need 5 or 6 virtual hands raised if you would like to be one of our answer readers. And just a reminder, please be aware that the first hour and a half of this meeting will be recorded so that we can put it onto our website and onto our YouTube channel. So Nancy, come on in with our recap, starting on page 100.
Nancy Alcoholic. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When you look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of the higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. When working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. But urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects of character are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are impatient, the blessed fact of his sobriety. If you have been successful in solving your own domestic problems, tell the newcomer's family how that has accomplished. In this way, you can set them on the right track without becoming critical of them. The story of how you and your wife settled your difficulties is worth any amount of criticism. Assuming we are spiritually fit, we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. People have said, we must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our homes. We must shun friends who drink. We must avoid moving pictures which shows drinking scene. We must not go into bars. Our friends must hide their bottles if we go to their houses. We mustn't think or be reminded about alcohol at all. Our experience shows that this is not necessarily so. We meet these conditions every day. An alcoholic who cannot meet them still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with his spiritual status. His only chance for sobriety would be someplace like the Queensland Ice Cap. And even an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. Ask the woman who has sent her husband to distant places on the theory that he would escape the alcohol problem. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time, but he usually runs up with a bigger explosion than ever. We should try these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking. If we have a legitimate reason for being there, that includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, even plain ordinary whoopee parties. To a person who has had experience with alcoholics, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. You will note that we made an important qualification. Therefore, ask yourself on each occasion, have I any good social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? Or am I expecting to steal a little vicarious pleasure from the atmosphere of such places? If you answer this question satisfactorily, you need have no apprehension. Go or stay away, whichever seems best. But be sure you are on solid spiritual ground before you start, and your motive is thoroughly good. Do not think of what you will get out of the occasion. Think of what you can bring to it. But if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I have a comment before we go into the study portion. And the comment is this. Notice that the first 100 placed an exclamation mark at the end of the preceding sentence. Also notice where these suggestions are given to us. We should have taken the steps and started sponsoring alcoholics before trying to get back into the normal life. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got 3 hands up. I could use 2 more for the questions once we get into them, or at least 1 more. And thank you, Jay. And Kenny, come on in and pick us up from there for the study.
Okay. Why sit with a long face in a place where there is drinking sighing about the good old days. If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure of those there. If it is a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically. If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means go along. Let your friends know that they are not to change their habits on your account. At the proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcohol disagrees with you. If you do not do this thoroughly, two people, if you do this thoroughly, two people will ask you to drink. While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Now you are getting back into the social life of this world. Do not do not start to withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor. Your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum usefulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere if you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spots on the earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing lines of life with those motives, and God will keep you unharmed. Many of us keep liquor in our homes. We often need it to carry green recruits through a severe hangovers. Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic. But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Every new alcoholic looks for the spirit. I mean, looks for this spirit among us as an immensely. Is immensely relieved when he finds we are not witch burners. A a spirit of tolerance might repel. A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics who live, whose lives could have been saved. Had it not been for such stupidity, we would not even do the cause of temperate drinker to good. For not one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it. We do someday. We hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to be better to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem. But we shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness, hostility. Drinkers will not stand for it. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were not. Bottles were only a symbol. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. Wow.
Thank you, Kenny. And we're going to go back to page 102 where Kenny started reading with our questions. And our batting order tonight will be Linda, Lisa, Nancy, and Jay. So the four of you go ahead and unmute. And just a question or a comment for our answer raters to please speak clearly into your microphones. And I will ask you the questions from our script by Joe and Charlie and Krusty Cliff. And the answers will be sentence by sentence coming directly out of this week's study, beginning with the first sentence that Kenny read and ending with the last one. And if anyone answering the questions loses their place, please allow me to direct them to the correct sentence so we don't have a whole lot of voices on top of each other giving direction. So, Linda, you get our first question, and it's a three-part question. So A, should we sit and be miserable when when with others who are drinking? B, if we do go and it is a happy occasion, what should we do? And C, if it is a business opportunity, we should do what? In 2 sentences, please.
I sit with a long face in places where there is drinking, sighing about the good old days.
Keep
Want
going.
me to? Okay. If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure of those there. If a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically.
Thank you. And Lisa, if a person wants to eat where booze is served, what should we do?
If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means, go along.
Thank you. Nancy, what do we impress upon our friends?
Let your friends know they are not to change their habits on your account.
Thank you. And Jay, should we tell our friends about our alcoholism?
At the proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcohol disagrees with you.
Thank you. Linda, back to you. How will they react to the truth?
If you do this thoroughly, few people will ask you to drink.
Thank you. Lisa, during our drinking days, we were doing what?
While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little.
Sure was. And Nancy, what are we doing now?
Now you are getting back into the social life of this world.
Thank you. And Jay, what should we not do at this point?
Don't start to withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor.
Thank you. And Linda, a 2-part question. A, what is our job now? And B, we should never hesitate to do what?
Your job now is to be at the place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere if you can be helpful.
Thank you. And Lisa, we should never hesitate to do what?
You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spot on earth on such an errand.
Thank you. Nancy, if we try to search out and go to suffering alcoholics to carry this message, what are we promised?
Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will help you unharmed.
Thank you. And Jay, do any of us keep alcohol in our homes?
Many of us keep liquor in our homes.
Linda, what is the most important reason for doing so?
We often need it to carry green recruits through a severe hangover.
Thank you. And Lisa, what do some recovered alcoholics do?
Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic.
And Nancy, how do some feel about liquor in their homes?
But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone.
Thank you. Jay, how do we argue this question?
We never argue this question.
No, we don't. And Linda, back to you. What position do we take?
Is it right here we feel, or is it we are?
We feel.
We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves.
Thank you. And Lisa, what are we very careful not to do?
We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution.
Thank you. Nancy, our experience shows what?
Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone.
Nope, it's not. And Jay, what are new members of our fellowship relieved to hear?
Every new alcoholic looks for the spirit among us and is
Immensely.
immensely relieved when he finds we are not wish burners.
Thank you. Linda, you got the jackpot. Another 2-part question. A, intolerance might produce what results? And B, intolerance is classified how?
A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics whose lives could not have been saved had it not been for such stupidity.
Thank you. And Lisa, what do drinkers not want to hear?
We would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good. for not one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it.
Thank you. And Nancy, a two-part question. A, what does our fellowship hope we might be able to do for the general public? And B, what attitude can we not present if we want to be effective?
Someday we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem. But we shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness or hostility.
Thank you. And why is that, Jay?
Drinkers will not understand, will not stand for it.
Thank you. And back to you, Linda. Who made our problems?
After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only a
that's
symbol.
it. Stopping at making. And Lisa, what were the bottles?
Right.
Bottles were only a symbol.
Thank you. And Nancy, what have we stopped doing?
Yes. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything.
And I have a comment. This is the second time we hear this phrase. The first time is on page 84, and it says, and we have ceased fighting anything and anyone, even alcohol.
And Jay, the last question, why?
We have to.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much for your service. You may go ahead and remute and put your hands down. And if you have experience with the portion of the book that was just read, please feel free to share. And be mindful of your time and that others may have their hands raised and are waiting to share. A friendly reminder as we share, absence of profanity offends no one. And we're now open for comment, questions, observations, and spiritual experiences based on what was just read. And we will have a timer going to remind you when we get to that 5-minute mark. Hi, Jay. Come on in.
Alright, so I like the part where it says that we should, if we have to go to a bar to eat with someone of our friends and stuff like that, we should go. But we need to tell our friends that, drinking is not for us. And I had that similar experience. One of my friends wanted to go to the bar, and he knew I didn't like to drink, but he wanted company. And I was just like, yo, we could go. I just won't be drinking. There's other things I could do. I could play pool, I could dance. So there's more than, there's other things I could do besides have a drink. So I really appreciated that.
Thank you, Jay. Who's next? Hi, Cindy. Come on in.
Hi, Cindy, recovered alcoholic. On page 102, I underlined, while you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Some days I feel like I still am withdrawing from life little by little. I've been sober since April 25th, 21, and I don't know, I have a hard time. I haven't actually given myself the grace to go out with people to the bar yet. But I just feel like if I do, I don't want to be the person sitting there with a long face. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I withdraw, definitely. So I don't know if that's just things that I'm going through right now or if it's just what it is. So anyway, I just thought I would share that.
Thank you, Cindy. Hi, Lisa.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I can relate with that withdrawing too. I don't have to work as hard as I used to, but it, kind of when life gets lifey, I got to work harder at that, and by using my tools. I'm learning and changing every day, but I wouldn't be too happy sitting in a bar. I don't think I wouldn't put myself in that position right now at this point. I never liked it when I wasn't drinking. I'd stay away from it. I wouldn't go out to eat. I didn't do a lot of things. Because that's just very uncomfortable. I'm not at that place now, but still, I don't want to chance it. Things have been happening for me this time, and I'd stay away from there. I mean, if I had to go somewhere very important, I'd go with somebody else. I'd go with somebody else who's sober. I was also never comfortable about talking to people about it, like why I didn't drink. The people in my life already knew anyway. So, knew I had a problem, so that really wasn't an issue either. And as far as keep it in the house for holidays, I don't. But I know that, the book was written a long time ago, and I understand, helping people and people coming over their homes, and, they get very sick, and they needed it to help them. But as far as for me, that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm kind of respecting alcohol. I respect it enough to stay the heck away from it. And it did enough damage, putting that stuff in my body, in my life. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, Linda. Come on in.
My name is Linda. I'm an alcoholic. I like the part where it talks about some things that we shouldn't do, and then it says, it's like there are exceptions. There's so many movies that have alcohol. I wouldn't even watch TV if that was the case. There's so many buses I wouldn't get on because they have these liquor advertisements. In the real world, it's there, and I have to deal with it. Doesn't mean the world has to stop for me, and alcohol has to be abolished all over the place. That's not what it's about. I'm the one with the problem, not the world. I'm the one that has a problem with drinking because there's a lot of people that can pick up a drink, don't even drink the whole cup, and it's like, I don't want to be bothered. Me, I got to get that cup, I got to drink everything and then drink everybody else's. So I know the problem is me. So I have to adjust to the world and things that's going on. And sometimes there may be an occasion when I'm invited someplace and there's drinking. No, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to drink water. But, I'm not going to get myself in a sticky situation where I haven't had anyone pressure me about drinking if I went out and there was drinking. I never encountered that. But if I did, I would know how to handle it. I would. And I don't feel out of place or awkward or this or that if I see a bunch of people drinking and I'm not drinking. In my mind, I say that's their drunk, not mine. That's their problem. If they have one, not mine. I have restraint today. I understand very well. And if I'm not in a good spiritual place, if I'm vulnerable, if I'm going through something, then I'm not going to go around places where there's drinking because I don't know which way my brain is going to click. And it may tell me, yeah, go pick up that drink. So as they say, we have to be vigilant. We have to be spiritually balanced. We have to be well mentally. There are a lot of things. I can't just think, oh, I'm going to hang with these people every Saturday night and they're drinking and that. No, because if every Saturday night they go to a bar, that's what they can do every Saturday night. Doesn't mean that's what I can do. And I'm not going to jeopardize my recovery for the sake of being around people that I think is my friends. I'm not going to tell them to stop drinking because of me. but they just won't see me in those places. And it was somebody I had to do that with. And eventually I just stopped being friends with her because then she got a little perturbed about me not drinking. Like it bothered her. And I was like, oh, I see what it is. You know, she got a control issue. It's making her feel uncomfortable because I'm not drinking. And, you know, judging me, comparing herself with me. And I just let it go. I just let it go. I said, the friendship is not worth it. I don't put nothing before my sobriety. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Linda. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi everyone, my name is Marilyn and I'm a recovered alcoholic. Yeah, I'm glad to be here just listening. I'd just like to say that for me, I don't really like to put myself in that situation where there's people drinking, but for the most part, I don't have, I don't really have a whole lot of friends that do drink. So that's a good thing because I have majority of the people that I associate with in my life, they're all members of Alcoholics Anonymous. So that's a great thing. But I have been in the company of people that have been drinking, and you know, I would just say like, no, thank you, not today, because I don't need to drink today. So I look at it as one day at a time, or, you know, I just don't feel like drinking. And that's the honest to God truth is I do not feel like drinking. So, and I like the part about uh, to be of maximum service to help others. And that's where I want to be. But regardless, like, I still rather not be around alcohol because I don't need to be. Um, Only like if it's like for work or something and I need to be there, well then I will be there. But also the other thing I'd like to say is that I would also make sure that I would have, you know, take a look at my spiritual development. Is it safe? I'd have a make sure to have a way out. I'd have a list of things that I need to to check before I end up having to attend something. So, anyways, that's where I am, and very, very grateful to be sober. So, thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thanks for sharing with us tonight. Terry, come on in.
Unmute, am I unmuted?
Yes,
Okay,
you are.
I'm almost home. Terry, recovered alcoholic. I just wanted to comment about the withdrawing from life part. Oh shoot, I left the garage door open. Oh no. Oh, sorry, I'm distracted. Oh no, my son's home. Okay, real quick, I wanted to respond to that about withdrawing from life. Hang around here long enough, and these people will not let you withdraw from life. Where are you? The room's open. Get your ass in here. So they won't let you, so you don't get to when you're part of this pickle family. And you know, another thing is, you know, being places where there's alcohol. I've hung around with my friend Kathy for 25 years, you know, and she knows I don't drink. It's never been a problem, but every time we go somewhere where there's she has, that she has an opportunity to have a drink, she always asks me first, is it okay with you? I said, Kathy, you know it's okay with me. And my another friend Trish, everybody that I go places with will always clear it with me first. But the thing that I noticed is that they're more uncomfortable than I am. So go figure. But it's funny. Kathy ordered last night. We went to watch the Dodger game, and she ordered a small Coors Light. I said, "What? I'm going to order the pitcher, so you're good." So anyway, thanks for letting me share. You guys are the best. This has really been a good conversation tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Terry. Good to have you here. Hi, Jamie.
Good evening, family. My name is Jamie, very grateful recovered alcoholic, and good to be with all of you tonight. I love this portion of the book. And looking at the passage of your job is now to be at the best place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others. So never hesitate to go anywhere where you can be helpful. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid spot on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. And I believe that to be true. When I got sober, there was a whole bunch of us, and most all of us newcomers, and one happened to be a singer. And a bunch of us went to where she sang, which is a restaurant bar, to support her. And some of the guys there, they started doing things like drinking O'Douls and stuff like that, because they had that mental mind twist. Well, it's not really beer; it's non-alcoholic, but they forgot and lost sight that there was alcohol in the processing of it, and even all the alcohol's not 100% extracted out of it. But that being said, I think every one of them eventually ended up relapsing, but I didn't, and it's because I hung out with people like my sponsor, and I have gone in to do 12-step work in bars, and it's just fine. If you're in Alcoholics Anonymous and you stay sober long enough, there's some things that are going to happen in the journey of sobriety. You're going to go to weddings. You're going to go to funerals. There's going to be celebrations and of the birth of children and grandchildren and so on. And there's always going to be cause for celebration. And what I have learned is that I can celebrate without ever having to take a drink. Last February, I went and spent 7 days on a cruise ship where there was a whole lot of drinking going on. And two things I did. One is I took my big book and I found the room where the Friends of Bill were, and I actually hosted almost every one of those meetings that was on ship. But the other thing I did, since I was smoking cigarettes, was I hung out in the smoking area where most everybody was drinking, yet I was sober. And they knew I was sober, and we talked about life, we talked about drinking, we talked about sobriety, we talked about all kinds of things. We often hear people say in the rooms, well, I'm here, I'm claiming my seat, I'm just checking in and participating in my sobriety. But the true participating in my sobriety, the true part of participating in my sobriety, is learning how to live life under all conditions. It's not whether or not I'm sitting in a meeting. That's something that is part of the insurance of it, but it's going out into the world no matter what the conditions are and being able to stay sober. And here's what happens in Alcoholics Anonymous. If we stay sober and we live this peaceful life that is not full of chaos and drama, what happens is we become, and people see us not drinking, we become an attraction to those who are drinking because they want to know how that happens, because they can't understand that without drinking. It really is a miracle. There's only a couple of people in my life, and they're two of my oldest friends that are from the old life. everybody else in my world is a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'll share this real quick. You know, my wife passed away 8 years ago today, and we kept alcohol in the home because she'd have a glass of wine or so on. That was fine. She was an alcoholic like me. And it was that way for many years. But the day she passed away is the day that I emptied every bottle down the waste pipe in the sink, because there was no longer a need for it to be in the home. But I felt safe and protected all those years, and my time is up. I've gone over. I have broken the rules of the group conscience. My apologies. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Who is next? Hi, Kenny. Want to come in and share? That's what happens when I see you turn your camera on.
Oh, I'm Kenny. I'm an alcoholic. I have a friend. She lives in Coney Island. Uh, Today she told me, I'm going to stop smoking weed. You know, I'm not going to smoke weed anymore, and I'm not going to drink anymore. And I said, wow, that's good. I'm happy for you. And I don't know if I played a part in that, because she knows that I don't indulge in them things, and she wanted to be a part of my life. I didn't put any pressure or anything on her. You know, I just I just tell her, you know, when you come by and visit me, you can't do them things in my house. If I come to your house, you know, you do what you want to do, you know. But she would never smoke weed around me in our house. You know, she wouldn't do it. And she would never drink in front of me. And it wouldn't bother me about the drinking. The weed part would bother me because I don't like the smell of it, you know. But I don't feel anything about it, you know. When I go in the store and I see beer next to the sodas in the German ice box, I don't feel compelled to want to drink. When I go over to my mother's house, she has this cores that been in there for God knows how long. It's been in there for a few years. I don't understand why it's there. You know, drinking already, but it's probably not even beer anymore now. You know, and she has her bottle of wine. You know, because she can have a glass of wine, and none of that bothers me. You know, because I don't want to drink. Because I realize if I drink, it's going to open the door for me to do other things. And them other things, along with the alcohol, destroyed me. It robbed me of years of life. And I'm just now at age 61 learning how to live. And like the turtle, I'm finally getting my head out of the shell, you know. I'm finally getting my head out of my, you know what, you know. And I don't worry about other people drinking or using other substances. That's what they want to do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever be chained and be a prisoner again. You know, I don't. I like the fact that I can have money now. I like the fact that I can I can buy things. I like the fact that I can go places. I can feel like you know, I could do things now. I took a computer class. I finished that. I brought a laptop. I'm able to do things like that. Before, if I brought a laptop, it would have been sold before the evening was over with, because I had to have my drink and other things, you know. And my life isn't like that now. Uh that's really all I got to share. You know, my life is very simple right now. I want to learn how to live. I want to learn how to go out. I've never been on a cruise. I had last time I went on a vacation, it was rehab. Uh, I'm just learning how to work again. You know, and this is the longest I ever been sober. next month, December, it'll be 6 years. And that's like, wow, I'm in unexplored territory. I'm thank you for your support and help. That's it.
Thank you, Kenny. Good to have you here. Who's gonna jump in next? And I know everybody's name, so if I don't get hands, I will start calling on people.
I can go again. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see where my hand is.
Oh, hang on with that thought, Marilyn. I got a hand up. Come on in, Xavier.
Hey, good evening, Xavier, recovered alcoholic. Yeah, thanks for everyone who shared, and thanks for Toe Tap and Pickle, best name ever. Trish, thanks for sharing the meeting tonight. So what I really get out of this reading, I think, when I keep in context, it's step 12. After I've done, the other 11 steps, it teaches me how to sponsor others. But what I really got is like to go back into the world now and not worry about whether I'm surrounded by alcohol or not, if I'm there for the right reasons. And my function, as it notes in the reading, is to be of maximum service. As long as I'm going there with the right attitude to, I know my God's going to protect me. And I love that because the message I get is like not to hide from the world. And I think one of the greatest prizes is I get to go live now. Like, I feel like it's like not drinking anymore is the miracle, but that's not the prize. That's the cause, I guess. The cause is okay. The cause, if I do the cause, I do the steps on a daily basis. I take actions. The effect is I don't have to drink one day at a time. But by not drinking one day at a time, then the effect is I get to go live life and I get to go be in the world and I don't have to create rules. And I love how there's a real consistency in the big book about, it's essentially telling me like not to judge others that are drinking. Like that's their issue, whether it's good or bad, like who cares? It's not none of my business. And I love how it essentially, paraphrasing, like to go preach, like don't drink alcohol, everyone, and it kind of, I like referring to chapter 5, my favorite chapter, of course, but, it's like, it's not for me to want to change the world. And it was really noted earlier, like, the world's the world and I'm in it. And if I have an issue with people drinking, that's my own issue. But I love like not creating these rules of there's alcohol, I have to go hide. And instead just say, okay, keep it simple. Like, and ask my higher power, where can I be of maximum service today? And then just show up, suit up and show up. It's a pretty cool thing. And then it's like I get to go live life at life's fullest. And I'm really, really happy for that. And I mean, as long as I continue to do this one day at a time, my experience shows me like it's the greatest gift in the world and life can be anything. Today I get to choose and like have an amazing life, but it's only because of AA and Alcoholics Anonymous. Otherwise I'd either be dead or locked up. Or definitely institutionalized. I've been in a psych ward over 30 times, so I'm living proof. I belong in a psych ward if I drink. And that doesn't exist today. So last thing is just on a personal note, my wife and I recently had 2 really big parties. One was for our 4-year-old, which was absolute insanity, but we had a big work party. And what we did is we invited a lot of AA friends as well. And these are mostly AA people that have been sober for many years. And we had a ton of alcohol there, like a ton. And, I made sure that at the end of the night that alcohol was gone. I didn't want it staying in the house once the party was over. And we found some very happy people willing to take the alcohol. Like there was so much left. They were in heaven, including the chefs that we hired. Like they love coming here because they always leave with a ton of booze. But and then like during the entire party, like I was just of service. I love playing host with my wife. Love doing it, running around, making sure everyone's happy. And I think it's really cool because we get to mix kind of best of both worlds. We get to mix all our alcoholic family with our non-alcoholic family. and of course our work family as well. And just like that dynamic was a very, very cool dynamic. And that way it's taken away limitations or rules, and it's just allowing my wife and I to be free and of service and to be in the world. So I'm really, really grateful for that. All right, that's all I got. I love everyone's shares. Thanks for letting me share. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Xavier. Glad you are here. Alyssa, would you like to come in and share? Could be doing stuff with babies. Stephanie, how about you?
Didn't you see me trying to hide?
Yeah, behind the coats, but I pulled them away and found you.
I was trying to hide behind my eyes lowered. No, because I've got so many things going on. It's like I can't pull it all together. I was at work today, and this Stephanie, recovered alcoholic, this lady came in, wanted some copies, and she was looking around, and she looked right at me, and she said, "Is there a Stephanie that works here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Stephanie. Who are you?" She said, "Lisa." I looked at her and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is one of my, way back in the day, like in the 20s, running buddies." And oh my gosh, it just started bringing back all these flashbacks. And I told the ladies were all there at work, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys just wouldn't believe this, this girl and I did some damage." And she said something, and I said, I repented. I didn't go in and to say, don't do that anymore. She was going on a cruise. So she was the only one that was going to have any fun because she was the only one that drank. But, everybody in my world, pretty much most of the family, because we don't really have a social life, are drinkers. So I'm always the one, it's me and the kids are the only ones that don't drink. And there's always alcohol in the house. But I'm okay with that. And if I didn't feel okay with it, then, I would have to do something different. But like somebody said something about respecting it. It's like, the last relapse that I had when I did, was that 4 years ago or no, before that. But anyway, it was because I didn't have any tools. I wasn't in AA, and I think it's an individual thing. It's some people just can't be around it. But I don't have that romanticized view of alcohol anymore like I used to, and it's real serious with me because I just never want to go back, and so I got to make sure that I feel like if I ever drift too far away from AA, I've got to get back in there, I've got to reconnect, because I don't want to ever be without tools. Like I said, it's like the sharks in the ocean. I respect the fact that they're out there, and I don't want to tempt fate by any means. But I think, like I said, I think it's an individual thing where I'm fine with it. And I think it's starting to get trendy to not drink. I've noticed with some of the younger people, their mocktails and stuff. Well, I don't want a mocktail or anything that looks like, or makes me feel like I'm having a drink. I don't want that, but that's me. And also about the friends, I could still call them friends, but they were drinking buddies. And I don't not see them because they're drinking. I just don't enjoy those things anymore. You know, we just have different things that we appreciate in life. And man, I appreciate waking up feeling good. I mean, as far as a 64-year-old can feel, you know, with the achy joints and stuff when you get up. I mean, I enjoy waking up with a clear head and not being in turmoil because of what I did the night before. And I guess that's all for my rant. I don't know. Like I said, my brain was going in so many different directions with this, especially with that girl, my old friend that came in today. It was just like, oh, I said, the memories that are coming up, I don't want to revisit them. So wherever that they came from, they need to go back. Because I don't even want to go back there and remember them. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Steph. Good to see you. Samantha, would you like to come in and share with us? And perhaps she's gotten called away. Nancy, how about you? Tough crowd. How about James? Would you like to come in and share with us?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hi, James. Oh, you muted.
You guys hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. My name is James. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm fairly new to the program. And my fellowship brother William, who I've met just this past Saturday, you know, he told me about this program, this meeting today, and you know, I came in a little late, and you know, I appreciate all the shares, and like I said, I'm still fairly new, and I just want to continue coming into the program and continue my sobriety. Maybe 4 or 5 days into sobriety, and you know, I have my home group around my area, and I want to continue coming here, and I have a lot to lose. You know, I have my family, I have my wife, I have my kids, I have my life as well, because you know the tell all is at the end of the day we can all lose our lives with this disease, and I just, you know, I want to just continue learning and listening. It's difficult to learn to listen and listen to learn. So that's, you know, that's all I have to say. You know.
Thank you, James. Glad you're here. And
Thanks for joining us.
And
Come back and join us again.
congratulations.
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
Mary, would you like to come in?
Okay, my name is Mary, alcoholic. As far as having drink, I don't have any in the house, but I really didn't keep a lot in the past couple of years, except the wine I bought. But I know I've gone just recently at my brother's luncheon after his burial. We were in a restaurant bar and people were drinking, and I really wasn't bothered by it at all. I don't know if that would hold true, but I went to my niece's house afterward and they had drinking there. Nobody offered me any. I'm sure they were respecting my feelings. I didn't feel that I needed a drink either. And that's how I hope it stays. I feel confident, but I know I'm capable of failing. So maybe with that ever present, it will keep me on the right path. And I'm glad that people don't, as you say, expect me to drink, which was the norm. Everybody's drinking, I'll have one too. And I really have to say, not having it didn't bother me that much. Maybe my head is cleared up after all these months, but I don't care what reason it is. I'm glad I came. I'm glad I'm learning what I have. And for that, I am grateful and a happy recovering all the way, on the way alcoholic who wants to keep going that way. And I'll see how the holidays go, but I'm not anticipating problems because I'm starting to think everybody around me's realizing, hey, maybe we all better cut back. I know there's people in the group, like, I don't go out that much, so I don't know that I'd have to worry about bars and all, but just getting together with the family is a crowd. And also, I don't anticipate a problem. Of course, my son Colin and Ryan are there, and they're entirely supportive of me. So that's where I am. I think I'm aware, and I'll stay aware. Plus, I have to drive to Cassidy, and I don't want to be doing that. And she'll tell me in a heartbeat, I don't want you drinking that wine. So thank you for asking me. And I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you for teaching me and supporting me through this. You look very nice tonight, Trish.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
thanks for sharing with us.
Okay.
Nancy, are you able to come in and share with us? How about Alyssa? Do you have a minute to come in with us? She's probably chasing babies. Well, I will go ahead and come in. I'm Trish and I'm an alcoholic. There is a whole lot in this section that we just read. For the most part, if I don't have a purpose to go somewhere where there's drinking, I don't. Because it's not a whole lot of fun to watch other people drinking to the point that they're stupid. But, sometimes there is a reason. Sometimes there is a purpose. A lot of my family get-togethers are wine at the table, wine with dinner, and once in a while that would bother me, and sometimes it wouldn't bother me. And then once I started talking to my sister about being in the program, every time she said the table, well, do you mind if we have wine? And it's like, it hasn't bothered me for the last 10 years. Why would it bother me now? And she said, I'm just trying to be respectful. It's like, okay, I could understand that, and I thanked her for that. What was very touching for me, my second Christmas in sobriety, I went to a dear friend of mine who they were having, her family, she and her family were having a big Christmas party, and up on the mantle where they would usually have all the beer and wine and everything else, they had soda bottles, tonic water, 3 different punch bowls, and a big sign saying, we love you too much for you to drink and drive, so this is what you get. Because she said they had thought a lot about the fact that I was sober and I was coming to the party, and it wasn't just for me so that people weren't drinking there, but made them realize they didn't want to be responsible for someone else drinking at their house and possibly having a problem or getting into an accident. And I definitely withdrew from life. I started doing that before I started drinking. And then the drinking just added to the withdrawing from life. So when I came into the rooms, I started living again. I really started living for the first time. And then life happened in sobriety, and in sobriety, I started withdrawing from life again. And lived in my own little hole in my own little bubble for years. But then I found a group of people who got me back involved again. And I'm at that point where the book talks about. My job is to be at the place where I can be of maximum helplessness to others. So I don't hesitate to go anywhere if I can be helpful. Whether it's going out with friends after work for happy hour and then having somebody talk to me afterward about why did I do that again. Whether it's going to a Christmas party just to sit there and show that you can go out and have fun and enjoy yourself and not be drinking. And then that's followed a couple sentences later. Keep on the firing of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. If I go into these places and I have the motive of helping someone else, God is going to protect me. I don't keep liquor in my home. I have had roommates who kept liquor in the home. But one of them who may qualify to be one of us, I'm not sure because we parted ways, she kept it in her bedroom because she didn't want it to be a problem for me, and I appreciated that. But, you know, the very ending, you know, I'm not going to sit there and tell someone that they've got to stop drinking if they're not ready for it. And then the italics, after all, our problems were of our own making, absolutely. I can point to 95% of my problems I caused myself. And the bottles were only a symbol to try to erase those problems that I had. And I had to stop fighting anybody or anything, including myself. And I had to get in line with what God was trying to give me, the gifts that God was trying to give me, the blessings and the promises God was trying to give me. And I forgot to start the timer. So if
penalty.
What?
Penalty.
I have to stop fighting anyone or anyone because I have to. And the book tells me that. Because if I'm fighting anyone or anything, I am not out there looking to help people. I am just looking for a fight, and I don't want to get into a fight with people anymore. And that's the worst way to go out and be of maximum helpfulness to somebody else. So if I can help somebody else, great. And sometimes helping them is just sitting there and showing them that I can still that it's still possible to have a good time without drinking. And other times it's sitting there and talking to them at all hours of the day or night. But as long as I'm willing to help, sitting there where my friends are drinking, that's okay, because that doesn't bother me today. And that's all I've got. Art, would you like to come in?
Hi everybody, my name is Art. I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic. My computer kicked me out for a minute. I had to let it come back up, so hopefully it'll stay up for the rest of the meeting. What we read tonight is interesting. You know, it goes through this list of things that some people think they should or should not do. And then it says, but that's not necessarily so. And we've heard from a number of people tonight who are doing things that are on that list. And I've been one of those as well. I mean, I don't not go somewhere because somebody's going to be drinking. That's not a good reason to stay away if I want to be there. And you know, I often share at meetings that the only time I think about drinking these days is when I'm at a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous where everybody's talking about drinking. Otherwise, I don't even think about it. It's not part of my life anymore. But neither is trying to judge other people and their drinking. I don't know if they're alcoholic. They might be. They might be showing some signs of alcoholism, but it's not my place to diagnose somebody else. This is a disease that's strange in a number of ways. And one of those ways is that it's unlike any other disease that we know about, is self-inflicted and self-diagnosed and self-treated. So I have to make the decision to drink or not to drink. And when I was deciding to drink, it brought me nothing but pain and suffering and agony and remorse and guilt and fear and all of those things that we all know so well. When I make the choice not to drink, my life becomes more meaningful. It becomes something that I enjoy. It becomes a way of life that brings me more enjoyment than I ever had from drinking. And you know, the idea that having a drink with a friend is going to solve any kind of problems, just it doesn't occur to me anymore. And so my wife is not an alcoholic, so she has stuff around to drink, and she has friends that are not alcoholics, and she shares them with them. And that's fine. It talks about nobody is going to want to hear anything about drinking, about alcohol from someone who hates it. So no, I don't condemn people who drink. That's their business. It's their choice. And I don't care who knows that I don't drink. You know, I mean, in most social settings where people are drinking, people might ask if you want to drink, and you decline, and that's the end of it. The only ones who would insist that you have a drink with them are the ones that have a problem with alcohol. And I don't need to be friends with them anyway. So this is an interesting part of the book where, you know, this whole chapter has been talking about how we treat other people who have an issue with alcohol. And those who have no issue with alcohol, we don't try to convince them that they do have a problem with it. And you know, live and let live is a good slogan for this topic tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Art. And it looks like everybody. Birthday boy, would you like to come in and share?
Okay, dokie. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gandalf the Red Pickle, and actually, other known as Donald in real life. But you know, I didn't really get to hear everything that was talked about, discussed, and stuff. But I got the gist of it. Whenever I had my accident, I severed all my past from alcohol. One of the hardest things was losing my father, who was an alcoholic, while I was in prison. And I have not seen one person since I quit drinking that I used to hang out with. And it's okay, because all the people that I was hanging out with were alcoholics, and I needed to make a change in my life. I can't make a change in their life, but I can help them if they want. I would like to help them if they want. Things mean so much, or so different to me today than what they did before. I appreciate things. I appreciate people. I appreciate what people do for me. And I appreciate what I have, what God, my higher power, has given me, the experiences that He's given me, the understanding of the program of AA. The other day I was walking through Walmart, of all places, and found myself not even realizing it, walking through an aisle, while I'm looking at my shopping list, and looked up, and I'm in the middle of the alcohol aisle. And I just laughed over it and said, yep, don't need that, but oh my God, I can't believe they charge those prices now. Because, it's been 10 years since I needed to go to that I wanted to go to that I had to go to that aisle. And, but it's a blessing, because I have so much more now. Even though I lost almost everything that I had whenever I had my accident, it's nothing compared to what, my victim and his family lost. And I appreciate, life a little bit different, because I got a second lease on life. And I thank God for that. So that's why I do what I do today, is because I've been given so much. And I got to give back as amends to those who I've taken so much from. The heartache, the guilt, the guilt trips, you name it. The taking advantage of people whenever I was drinking. And whenever I was driving while under the influence, putting other people at risk. I wasn't caring about other people. Now I do. I was helping a complete stranger yesterday on the bus to find housing for her and her daughter, because she just left one of the women's shelters, and people need to stay together as a family. So I do what I can, wherever I can, however I can. And so I just want to say thank you guys for listening to me and helping me and stuff, 12-stepping. And by the way, for those people who go over and stuff, 50 lashes from a wet noodle. And Stephanie, don't look behind you, but you have a critter behind you on your right shoulder. So God bless you guys. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening. My ride will be here in about 5 minutes. I got a reprieve while I was at the bus stop, so I came back home and came back on. So love you guys.
I said hi.
I will, and Monica.
Yes.
Yep.
Amanda, my little sister.
Yep.
So, okay. Good night,
I,
guys.
I was
Thank you,
I was
Donald.
thinking behind Stephanie that it was the female Beetlejuice with the shrunken head with all
Oh, that's a female cousin it.
the We are not a glum lot.
We try not to be anyway.
Nope. Not today.
I do have Halloween jokes too, you know.
After we close out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be getting off, so I will see you guys later. Thank you.
Enjoy.
See you, brother.
Jamie, would you like to read our closing now?
I would be honored to. You know, we don't get to our 12-step prayer until we get here in this page, and this is where we find it. From page 164. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order, but obviously you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is a great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until then.
Thank you. And here at Primary Purpose, we close out with the Lord's Prayer, but because we can't stand and circle up around the table, we hold our hands up in the screen, and that's how we circle together and pray out, because you know, we're not even in the same time zone, so that'd have to be a really, really big table to do that. But we'll take a moment of silence for those still suffering inside and outside of these rooms, especially those who may die tonight, either because they haven't found their way to us or because they found their way and they weren't interested in what we had, or they weren't ready, and then they left us. So a moment of silence followed by the Lord's Prayer. Thank you. And who brings us from shame to grace if we let him? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done, on earth as it is in the heavens. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you,
Thanks,
folks.
everybody.